I was born on June 6, 1996, and I was diagnosed with transposition of the greater vessels.
We were at the hospital and I had him and went to recovery. And then about 45 minutes later, 3 doctors came in. Phil was with me, and one was carrying Joe, one was carrying an oxygen tank, and the other one had the mask on Joe's face. And they said, "We've got a problem. Dad, you need to come with us."
So we left the room and walked down to probably like a NICU unit, and they started explaining to me that we had what they thought was some heart issues. I think we spent a short time maybe with Barb, and then he and I was off to Children's Hospital. So he was not more than a couple hours old or so. And
Pulmonary artery and aorta are switched, so the blood would never mix. The same blood would go to his body, the same blood would go to his lungs. And he had a big VSD, which is a hole in the heart.
a lot to take in a short period of time. From Mercy to Children's, I had to pull over and sort of settle down for a minute, say a little prayer, then got back on the highway to get to the hospital.
Yeah, growing up with a heart defect was hard at times. There were a lot of sports I couldn't play. I couldn't do contact sports or anything like that, and my other abilities in sports were kind of limited due to my cardiovascular system. And I would also go to the doctors a lot and hospitals a lot for checkups.
Early on, there was feeding tubes and hospital visits and operations. He got real bad infection once, had to rush him to the hospital. He almost passed away that incident.
2016, he had to have his pacemaker replaced with a defibrillator because he was having a lot of abnormal heart rhythms. That was done in August, and then by the following June, he just got really sick, and we didn't know what it was. Pretty much went on for all summer. We finally called the doctor and said, he can hardly breathe, and
They figured out the pacemaker wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. We think that it was either wired incorrectly or that one of the wires came loose. His heart was sort of weakened from the 9 months or so, almost a year, that the pacemaker wasn't working properly. He did get better for 3 months, 4 months, and then he just fell off. It just, the bottom dropped out. And then that's when the word transplant came up.
I kind of thought that it was just another thing that he was gonna go through and he'll be okay. The emotional moment for me in all of this was, it was all hearsay because I wasn't at the doctor that said this, but there was a doctor that told Joe that it would be a worthwhile option to weigh not doing a transplant and just living out your life on these medications, which could be 2 years or so. That was kind of a wake-up call for me that this was a lot more serious than I had thought.
I first started needing a transplant on March 28th last year, 2018. I went to the hospital at Cardinal Glennon. I was experiencing some complications with my heart, and a few days later, October 31st, I got the news that I would need there was an available heart. And I was very happy about that, very excited, so we did that. And November 1st at around 7 a.m., I went into surgery, and the surgery ended around 10 p.m. the same day. And I was finally discharged from the hospital December 6th.
If you look at heart transplants overall, it's a big deal. The success rate is very high. But his case was a lot more risky than most.
There were times when I was thinking that could end up what happening if things got worse. I didn't think they'd get that worse. I figured it's just another obstacle that I'm gonna have to jump over. I was scared, and because it could go wrong. This doesn't always work, and not everyone gets a heart. If the surgery went successful and the post-treatments went successful, then I could come out of this a lot healthier with a new heart.
while he was in the surgery for that, they have an app called the Ease app, and they send you updates and they send you pictures.
Sort of like Snapchat. But what's strange is that his legs already looked better, the color in them. So instead of, past operations, he really would look beat up. after the operation. This one, he actually looked a little better. He did okay right away, and then he started trying to reject the heart, and then that's when it got scary.
Massive headaches, back aches, stomach aches, pain. You're not able to move. You've got IVs everywhere. I had, I believe, 6 IVs in me at the time when I was conscious after the surgery.
That was the bottom, and from there we started improving, and they started trying new and different things, and it worked.
I'm still taking a lot of medications for the heart, but I'm healing fast. The restrictions now are a lot less than the restrictions I did have when I was living with my original heart and a pacemaker.